Okay, guys, I'm almost ready to get into this exciting MythLab today, guys. And I am truly excited because I was like, I had some stuff to do yesterday, so I felt like I hadn't done a MythLab in a minute. Like I've been doing some other stuff. I actually been trying to market, my channel and all that stuff, and not just rely on internal growth, right? So I'm trying some stuff. I'm trying to do some more marketing, try to be more responsible as a YouTuber and just as a content creator, right? So I know I had some stuff to do, and then like the other day, like my dog got sick, right? I can disrupt your whole day, right? In my house, it does. And so I felt like I hadn't done a myth lab in forever. Let me turn this volume down here. I felt like I hadn't done a myth lab literally in forever, but it's only been a couple of days. But that just shows that I kind of be jonesing for this as a form of expression, right? Like as a form of outlet, I must enjoy this because I guess I get a dopamine hit. I guess right. I get a sense of being rewarded. I get a sense of being rewarded by doing MythLab, right? So that's a good thing. I'm kind of aligned in the right place, right? Like my flow is in the right place. I'm aligned with my purpose and my joy are all in the same place. And that is talking about the illest gods that are out there. And in this case, if you see the title of this, man, this is the gods who can kill you without touching you, right? And there's some more to this list, right? We'll get into it. But these are three of the most compelling, and I wanted to get into it with each of these gods and just kind of like break it down for you guys. Like break down like what is you're seeing here. And we'll start off by like what we've got here is my main man, Apollo, who of course is Greek, Greek culture. Greek. This is one of Zeus's sons. Very important deity. One of my favorites. Like really one of the first, of the Greek gods that I ever was like, oh yeah, Apollo. And I started reading mythology as a kid, right? And funny, he doesn't really appear in too many of the like. He's in none of the Clash of the Titans. None of that, right? Like none of the good Greek gods are in Clash of the Titans. To me, I mean, yeah. Look, man, I'm gonna go through Clash of the Titans later. But anyway, like, so we have Apollo, we have Nergal, who's from like, this is Sumerian, like Mesopotamian, right? If I'm right on that. And then we have Shiva, and Shiva, of course, is the most famous of all these guys sitting up here. And he's from Hindu Vedic culture, right? So he goes way back. So he's by far the most notable of the three, just because the Sumerian gods, like they're just like whoever was doing marketing down at Sumerian mythology just did a poor job. Like you let all the other major pantheons start passing you up when you got some great story. I'm working on Inanna's descent into the underworld right now. As I've been doing these mini comics, right? So so check for that later. And I got another new one up. What else did I get up? Okay. So you guys probably got, oh yeah, I got the Sun Tamer. I'll drop that. Let's see if I can drop that. I'm going to drop that in the comments right now. This is on my Patreon site, and you can totally go get it. It's a short mini book about the sun god of Maui. And just like, it's just a quick, like, but it's kind of cool little artwork. If you got some kids or something, you just want like a free ebook on mythology. It's like pretty tame. It's real short, but I'm going to start grouping them in a larger collection. So right now, like individually, go check them out. They're free. They're just kind of fun. And I'm going to put together a larger collection for you guys to enjoy. And I think once I got like 8 or 10 stories or something like that, I think it'll be fun. So anyway, that's a freebie for you guys right there. It's in the audio. It's in the comment section. And you can just copy it for free. Just a simple download, right? Okay. So now I'm back into it. So today I wanted to talk about these gods that can kill you without touching you, right? And that just sounds dope to me, right? So, and these guys what they all have together is this poison ability. That's what brings them all together, right? These are the poisonous gods of pantheons: Greek, Mesopotamian, Hindu. And what do these guys all have kind of in common is this kind of ability to give you that that power strike, right? Like killing you without touching you is still seen as a pretty profound power. And the first one, like I said, we have up is Apollo, and Apollo is Greek, obviously. His name now, I can't confirm this, but this is what I'm reading is that his name Apollime, possibly the Greek roots of Apollo is Apollome, means to destroy. Although that comment unto itself, that idea or theory unto itself, is debated. Right, this is not like agreement, but it does seem kind of interesting that that's what your name is. Right, you are to destroy. Right, and then you be destroying. So somebody, maybe, right? But we'll talk about because that's not all that Apollo is. And again, Apollo is also light, prophecy, healing. Like they put plague at the back, right? They lead with light and prophecy. That's how I got into it. I'm like, oh, you're kind of like a solar god, right? So to me, it was a natural, just like, oh, okay, you're kind of a solar god, you're cool. Like this is, the time I run into this guy, Apollo, man, this is like, let me see if I can find something for you. Because this is going to tie into why. Like, this is some true, I'm letting you guys into my noodle type of stuff right now, right? Because the name Apollo, let me see if I can find this. I got to find this for you guys, right? And it's worth it, okay? Let me see if I can find this. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Let me grab this for you guys too, man, because this is going to tell you, like, where my head is at. This is some true psychology about, like, name associations. Oh, man, come on. Why does it take so damn long? I'm sorry, guys, but this is really funny, and this is going to I'm going to let you guys inside my brain computer here, like, kind of deeply, right? What I'm doing is I'm going to let you guys in my brain computer to see how I was processing stuff as a kid, right? And it's profound. And I know I wasn't the only kid doing this stuff either, okay? So, so this is 19. If some of you guys are going to recognize this, most of you guys will not, okay? This is the dude from Battlestar Galactica, right? And if you remember him, this was Apollo, right? So this is 1978. I'm born in 1972, right? So you can see I'm like 6 years old when I'm watching Battlestar Galactica on TV. And at the time, like, there wasn't a whole lot of this stuff, right? Like this sci-fi was like very much like, I mean, it was always fighting to be mainstream, but for it to be this high production, like sci-fi was taken it to another level, especially space shows, right? So if you're a kid, because you got to remember, like 1978, then like it would be like 3 years later, then like Star Wars would come out, right? Anyway, it has nothing to do with it, but I started reading mythology, so this is like I'm like 6, 7 years old when this comes out, Apollo. And then, like, about 8 years old, 9 years old, I started reading mythology, right? After I, so that name and like, oh, he's gonna be cool, always kind of stuck. It's like it was a hero name to me, right? So anyway, that's just kind of what was going on in like 8-year-old Nine's brain. That's how we got here in part. So this was my thoughts on Apollo when I started reading Greek mythology, like because I started Greek first. That's just how it was, right? In my era, in my time, like. Greek mythology was everywhere. I didn't even know that other people had mythologies for years. Like I went Greek, and like I kind of like ran through the Greek section of the library. Even as a kid, man, like I would just consume books. Right? I don't do that no more, but I would consume books, and so after I got through all the Greek, I'm in the library section. This is my little local library. I'm not even condemning on it, but this is the truth. So after I ran through those books, and I'm like, Norse mythology hit me up, and I read like a big fat Norse. But the Greek were to me, and then I got to Aztec, and then the floodgates got open for me. So it really changed up my mental game. But just the association of Apollo in my head, was kind of central to me liking this character. So we know his symbols. He has the lyre, he has the bow and the arrow, he has the wreath that we always see. So he's associated with music. Now, he's always shown as very youthful, male, radiant, the bow of the lyre because the music, like again, the guy with the guitar, man. This is who Apollo was. The guy with the guitar. Like, he's a good looking guy, right? And he's a douche. You hate this guy because he rolls around with his freaking guitar. That's who Apollo is, right? He's the dude rolling around with his tarp. And he's, this is a major Olympian. Like, so in the pantheon of the Olympian gods, man, like, yeah, he's up there, man. Like his association, he's well regarded, internationally known, locally respected, is what we say about this character here, right? And he's associated with both healing and destruction. And they don't tell you this stuff. They always talk to you about the light and all that stuff. They didn't say nothing about plague. It's on the back page. Like it's on the back page in slightly smaller ink. But his arrows, because we're reading about him, his arrows are instruments of divine will, capable of curing and infecting. They didn't tell us. They didn't tell 7-year-old me, right, that he was capable of killing as well. And I'm not quite sure how 7-year-old me would have taken that anyway, right? We have no idea what 7-year-old me would have done with that information. Maybe plague would have made him even more amenable to me. Who knows, right? It was a crazy time. 7-year-old me was going through a lot of crazy stuff, right? It's the 70s, okay? So this deity here really stood out to me because I'm like, you shooting the golden arrows, you got the right? You're doing everything right. You're the golden boy and all that stuff, right? And he operates as precision interference, right? He is the deity associated with precision and with clarity. His arrows are vectors of invisible force. They are either plague or they are death, and it's like, he does not miss, okay? He is light. The light that he emits is for purification, right? He purifies the environment that he's in simply by existing in his golden form, okay? Apollo is like well known. He's shown everywhere. Like you could see, like if you want to go see a naked picture of him right now, just go to your local museum. If you're in a larger city and you want to see, if you're sitting here right now, you're like, I wonder what his penis looks like, right? If you're wondering, like, there's a million of these pictures of him in various states of disrobe, and they're just comfortable with this, right? I don't know how he felt about it. I guess if he was posing for this stuff, right? If you were posing, if you're like, while they're chiseling it and you ain't got no drawers on, and then they make, you wouldn't be like, I thought you were going to put some pants on me, right? So he can't say that he thought they were going to put pants on him because you were standing there naked while they were chiseling. And that took a long ass time. So he's like, he's one of the most famous deities. Now, the three I'm talking about, he doesn't match Shiva, right? We already know that. Shiva's like the MJ of this stuff, right? But this guy's like, you really locally known, well respected. He's traveled. I don't know why he hasn't ended up in the movies like everybody else. We got Hades. Hey, who's gonna put Hades in a movie and then you don't put Apollo in the movie? Like, I don't understand, right? Like, this is the Justin Timberlake of deities, right? This is Brad Pitt of deities. I don't know why you wouldn't put him in the movies, but he's not. Like, even though he's still well known, at least I haven't seen him in much, and I watch a lot of like mythology, anime, and all that stuff. But he's known for being a distributor of divine judgment. He is the regulator of balance between health and disease. He is the mediator between the mortals and divine knowledge. So he has a lot of words. And in the Iliad, he sends plague into the Greek camp through targeted strikes. So he was active in the Iliad. So wow, you must have been on the Trojan side, right? Okay, so man, how'd Troy lose that? It was a lot of deities that were in there that had money on Troy, right? You guys know Troy was a setup, right? I don't know if you guys realize this. People have money on the fall of Troy. That's why it went down like that. That's why they made Paris fall in love with Mentheres. Like, they did that. That was a whole... She was already his wife before they put her up as a prize. So no matter who won her for their contest, right, her husband was going to have beef with it, right? So they knew what they were doing, and they started a war. And we will talk about that. Like that's like some manipulative stuff in the Greek pantheon. Now, historically, like with Apollo, he's known. He's known for the Temple of Delphi, which is the whole thing with the oracle. There's another one at Delos that's also associated with him. And he's been around since the archaic time. He's been here early on in the development of the pantheon. By the classical period, he had been extended all over Greece. So he's well known. And in the Hellenistic period, he became associated with the the solar aspect, which is where I kind of come into it, right? I must have came in, or my first influence is being from the Hellenistic period. because this is when he's associated with the solar and the healing traditions. And I'm like, ah, yeah, this is a cool guy. Now knowing that, oh, you're also the guy that makes the poison, right? So yeah, I guess that is balance right there. So by then he's had his influence out. It's very strong. He's known with the oracles. He's known with the healing sanctuaries. He's known with musical and poetic competitions. So they was doing freestyle battles, right? Poetic battles, right? I don't know what our art thou cometh unto thine, but this is what they were saying. This is how they were getting down. So this makes me think of like the freestyle battle. And he was known for being the consultations of prophecy, purification ritual. So you called on him when you wanted purification because it's the sun. That's the sun. That sun association with purification is it's baked in the cake, right? So this is who he was. And offerings could be tied to like health and divine favor, right? He offers clarity, alignment, and correction. Like, so get your brain computer all in line with your spiritual computer, right? So he is this duality. Obviously, he has two sides, and a lot of the Greek gods have two sides in what they represent. I guess that's each of them kind of representing balance on their own, or the idea of opposite forces coexisting. Him is shown in the duality of both healing and harming, light being both revelation and exposure. The same light he used to burn to purify a place was the same light that was a weapon against a lot of people. So it shows both sides. That disease can actually be divine correction. And if we look at how nature rolls, like nature it made these diseases for reasons. Not everything. There's some stuff I know that we made in labs, and that's probably true. But nature, look, we can't say that diseases are not nature's control mechanism, because it controlled all of us for like 3 years. We all stayed in the house. So that's control that nature has. Now, in mythic terms, like he's into the old school stuff, the slaying of the python, the punishment of Niobe, the his role in the Trojan War he's talked about. So he operates as kind of like an enforcer of divine order. So maybe in that role, man, I kind of think of like what is it? Is it Michael, the angel? I think of like Sekhmet, like there's not a lot of you don't hear a lot of judgment stories coming from Sekhmet, but you hear a lot of stories about her whooping somebody's ass. And I think that's they kind of fit that same mold of like, yeah, we handle like the business when it needs to be handled, right? And so he does like what he tells us about the Greek culture is that they valued balance. That was an important thing. And they reflected it in the deities. Now that I'm seeing it a little more clearly, they definitely reflected balance in how they moved. They feared unseen causes of illness. So when you didn't understand fully where disease came from, they manifested it in Apollo. This psychologically makes it easier to handle, right? Like if people start getting sick, at least mentally you have like it's the wrong thinking, but at least your mind can grasp on something. And I think that works in the elements of like how much you hope, right? You're like, okay, if this is Apollo and he's doing this, that means all we have to do is like make him happy again, right? Like we gotta stroke him, right? And then at least mentally you think you can do something to cure. Whether it helped them or not, they still survived as a civilization. None of those diseases actually wiped them out. So maybe praying to Apollo ultimately did work out because they're still here, right? Okay, continuous civilization, right? That's who they are. So he's really like one of the main ones I think most people know about. I don't know about his association with the poison. I don't know if people really recognize that as being a deep part of him. So I'm glad I got to at least insert that. That's something I pulled out of this myth lab today that I didn't know. Okay. So then let's get to I'm gonna save Shiva for last. I'm gonna do Nergal. This is Nergal of Kutha, and like Nergal is the least known and possibly the most intriguing guy that's on the scene, right? He is this is an Akkadian, right? I think I said, like, when I see Mesopotamian or Sumerian, like, I just mean all that, right? I know they were broken down like Akkadians and all that. That way I'm never wrong, right? But he comes from that Akkadian mythology, right? And I know they all got linked. And it is theorized that this name is linked to meaning lord of the great city, meaning the underworld itself. So he may operate in that capacity as an underworld lord. He again is right up front. He gets a clean billing on the advertising because he is the deity of plague, war, death, and the underworld all in one. His symbol is either the mace, which he has in hand, or a lion, and flame. So he got everything that is his symbol. He put all his symbols in one. And so you can really like not even like question about what I'm coming at you with. I will bust you in the head. I am angry like this lion, and I'm burning up like fire. Everything right there, so you can't say that you didn't know what he was all about. You know he's about that work, right? You can't say that about him. He is associated with mass death and environmental destruction. So he's not just like I'm going to shoot you with the poison death. He is mass death. So what he operates is he is disease when it's uncontrolled, an uncontrolled spread and an environmental force. That's when disease becomes that. You then call it Nergal. You're like, ah, shit, Nergal just showed up. Okay, that's who this guy is fundamentally. His domains are disease outbreaks, war-driven death, scorching heat, which is linked to pestilence, right? So pestilence, we all know about that. Whenever you hear somebody say pestilence, you're like, uh-oh, because you know that's serious. Pestilence is among the worst thing that we can get, right? I hate pestilence. And this is what he's linked to. So he functions as the embodiment of like this epic force, right? He obviously there was not a word. He was a ruler of the underworld alongside Ereshkigal, and I will talk about Ereshkigal because I'm working on Inanna's piece. That means we're going to be talking about Ereshkigal because she's going to descend into the underworld, right? Where he lives at, where he's at, right? He's down there. So he's old, right? He is old. He rose in the Akkadian period as war and plague. During Babylon, he became integrated into the underworld part of their theology. By the Assyrian period, he remained prominent as an imperial, ideology, and he has alignments with periods of conflict and instability. Totally makes sense, right? Because based on what we know about him, he's also associated with protective rituals against disease, appeasement offerings, which like, yeah, give me something now before it becomes bad in there. They call them appeasement offerings, but I actually kind of call it like blackmail, right? Is that not racketeering, right? You're forcing people to pay you. So I'm just saying, if you make an offering for me, nothing bad happens, right? If you don't give me, I can't guarantee it if you don't. You know what I'm saying? So it's extortion is really what it is. We get it, gods. We see what you guys are all about here, right? The gods. Yeah, we kind of see. So it's extortion. So if you appease him, it would avoid catastrophe. So it's always worth it. He would create the catastrophe. That's the thing about it. Like, he also creates a catastrophe. I get if you were like, hey, guys, just hook me up, keep me well fed, and I'm gonna make sure no catastrophes hit you guys. That's one thing. But if you don't do that, it's not the catastrophe just happened. He created the catastrophe. Yeah, this guy created the same catastrophe that he just extorted money out of you to not get, right? So this is how this guy operates, okay? So now again, we kind of get to understand that he represent like these people were afraid of like death in a lot of forms, and one of them was like the spread of disease through warfare, this chaos. So he wasn't like, he was the opposite of Apollo. Whereas Apollo was like precision strikes, he was like, I'm gonna spray the entire area, right? You ever see the movies with like gangbangers and they're just like, I'm gonna spray the area because none of them know how to shoot. When it's military guys, it's always like bah, 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 right? Like bam, there's strikes, right? When it's Jason Statham, it's always like strikes. Okay? When it's in the hood movies, it's always they're spraying the area. That's why everybody else gets shot too, right? Because these guys don't know how to shoot. Anyway, this is who he is. He's like, I'm going to spray the area. This guy is a shotgun, right? He's a shotgun. He's a flamethrower. I'm going to light the whole thing up. And mythically, we know that he is, again, married to Ereshkigal, who is the queen of the underworld. And Nergal descends, and he conquers, and he becomes the co-ruler along with her. So he transforms from destroyer to a sovereign of death himself. That's how bad he is, man. Because Ereshkigal ain't no joke, man. And we're going to talk about her in a little bit. So he reflects cultures that have experienced a lot of war and like epidemic cycles. That's really what it does say about them, like knowing who they are, that they've had a lot going on in their culture, and they've experienced it. So this is the triad, the first two of the triad here. And the last one, of course, is probably not the big guy for last, right? And that's Shiva, because we know about Shiva, and so when we talk Shiva, again, we have to accept like the destruction part that he represents. It's destruction, but it's not for the sake of being a jerk. It's destruction so that we can create and have something new again. That's who he is. That's Shiva. His name means auspicious, benevolent, right? So this tells you, even though he's primarily working in destruction, transformation, and transcendence. You know him by the trident that you see him carrying. You also know him by the third eye, right? Representation. And the serpent, right? Which is, the serpent obviously is always about knowledge. This aesthetic of him is primarily seated in a meditation pose. And he embodies both destruction. Again, a god with two distinct aspects: destruction and preservation through transformation. And this is who he is. And because worship of him is still active and strong right now, obviously he's the most significant in this modern time. And this is the event that on a cosmic scale, poison is not destroyed. He consumes this cosmic poison. Early on, he consumes. That's what he's holding in his hands right there, that little jar, right? It looks like Mountain Dew. It is actually hala, I believe is what it's called. It's cosmic poison. And it can't ever be destroyed. It was contained within his throat. That's how he became a master of it, because he took it into his own form. So he represents the consumption of poison, literally in his body. So he is the absorber of this existential threat that could have wiped everybody off the set. He takes care of it. He is the regulator of destructive potential. He is an agent of transformation rather than elimination. Destruction is the framework for a necessary recalibration. All those things come together with him. And he's been like popping since the early times on the Indian subcontinent. He's been one of the go-to guys, one of the guys they can count on. Go all the way back to the precursors of the Indus Valley civilization. During the Vedic period, he emerged as Ruda Shiva. He's known throughout their classic Hinduist period. He has a central role in it. He is one of their cosmic principles, not just a localized deity, which is what explains his longevity on the scene. Is he's always been out there. Now, he is worshipped, because his worship still is active right now. Meditation. He loves to see that. Offering him water, milk, and ash. Offerings of water, milk, and ash. I'm not sure if that stuff's supposed to be mixed together or not, so I'm going to stay away from that one. Veneration, resuscitating prayers, or how, that chanting of prayer. He's also that inner control of yourself, right? He's also very pleased when you have inner control of yourself and you are aligned with the cosmic cycle. So he just wants you to be cool with everything. Internal mastery over external chaos. This is what he preaches. You see how calm he is. I'm like throwing stuff back at him. He doesn't even flinch, right? Because this guy's cool. He's all internal. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to show him. Don't unleash the bottle of poison on me. Jeez, this guy's, come on, you're right. Okay. But he is all about destruction, transformation, poison being a containable force. This is kind of ultimately what he said. He's power through restraint. In mythic texts, he's from the beginning. He goes from the rooter to the tutor, right? You get him at the beginning of the churning of the ocean, right? Remember they had to churn that ocean to, like, it's the cosmic ocean. They were like, right? They had to churn the ocean. He's there on the scene helping churn the ocean. And then he'll be at the end in the dance of destruction. So he's at the churning, right? And he just put the churn down and just kept it. And he kind of like, got really wild with it, because now he's at the dance of destruction. So he just kept on moving the entire time. He exists at both extremes of the cycle, and that tells you how deeply ingrained this deity is. He is a cosmic constant. He accepts destruction as necessary. He values inner discipline. He sees reality as being a cyclical part that he is a major part of. So those are three deities here that I think, man, like I said, Shiva obviously is the one who is the most notable because of how long Shiva's been worshipped. Nergal is a very niche deity, but obviously extremely powerful, that he fought his way in the underworld. Apollo is culturally famous, although he's not worshipped and not even making himself in any movies. But all these guys were, of great impact and kind of conveying the same ideology, and that being like the containment, the use, or the distribution of disease. The disease gods or the poison gods is actually more accurate for these guys. So, okay, so that's going to wrap this Myth Lab up. Again, I got a free ebook for you guys. Go in the comment section. Check that out. And I'm going to be working on some more good content for you guys. Check out my Facebook page. I'll drop the link for that as well because I'm putting a lot of content there as well. I'm kind of doing some other cool stuff that works with the comic book. Like you get some previews from the comic book that it's easier to put there than it is here. So I'm going to drop my... because you can just follow me. You know how they're doing on the pages now. You can just follow people directly. So I'm gonna drop me to y'all and just come on in if you want to follow. Like I'm able to give some more insight kind of stuff. Oh man, okay. I'm able to give some more insight kind of stuff. At on the Facebook channel right now. Like I can just drop real short cells. I'm gonna, I'm still working on the graphic novel, but obviously I don't think that's gonna be done for a while. I mean, it's gonna take me a while to get to the form that I want. And I want to drop all 9 issues at once. But in the meantime, the in between time, you guys can definitely check it out. But I will have some more, and then you can kind of see the other the other mini series are up there as well, and it's all up on the Patreon. So you guys should be linked up, hooked up. And like blinked up, like stirred up your brain noodle a little bit today, mine as well. So I appreciate you guys as always for stopping in. I'll be back probably on later today.